So I just came on an evening bike ride and came across this, a GT3 RS. Now it is the same GT3 RS as we saw the other day next to the Carrera GT, and it's a very nice GT3. I would like to kind of do a comparison video between a GT3 and a GT3 RS. It would be convenient if we had one around here, wouldn't it? Boom, there it is. Another GT3, this time not an RS, and it's in a beautiful crayon colour, full bucket seats, carbon ceramics, and it looks like it is a GT3 that gets used. It's not a garage queen, it's dirty, it's got a dent in the wheel arch, it's got stuff in the back, it's got bird poo on it. Looks like a properly used GT3, which is what we like to see. Now, what can we say about the differences between these two cars? So let's look at the front of this one first. You can see it's got the air vents in the bonnet, carbon roof, carbon bonnet, and then quite an aggressive looking front bumper there. Now if we come and compare that against the standard GT3, seems strange calling a GT3 standard, but as you can see it's a lot less aggressive, it's a lot more subtle. So it doesn't have the big air vents in the bonnet, it doesn't have the carbon roof, carbon bonnet, and the front bumper looks relatively similar. I think there's not a whole lot of difference on that. And then if we look at the back of the car here, so noticeable the wing isn't absolutely massive on this, and if we take a look around the back, center exit exhausts and nice couple of air vents there as well. Now let's look at the GT3 RS. So huge amounts of differences really, right? So we look at the wheeler. Yep, we have these massive air vents on the wings there. We also have carbon mirrors, you have a massive air vent in the side there. Huge rear wing, and there's no air scoops on the rear deck lid there, which the GT3 has, which would actually get more air in. And then the rear bumper is similar in design, actually looks maybe a bit simpler. But yeah, just the RS looks way more aggressive. You can tell it has a lot more aero on it for all of that track action. And the GT3, I would say it's like more of a road car, right? It's like something you can enjoy a bit more on the everyday streets, everyday roads, whereas the RS is more of your track monster. Yeah, and I think like looking at the front bumper, the GT3 RS had like really big side extensions here, whereas the GT3 doesn't have that. I think that's because the RS has the wider front track. We have a Panamera, it's a bit of a Porsche area this, isn't it? And yeah, he's been curbing these wheels as well. Definitely a well-used GT3. Awesome. But yeah, this is what I was speaking about. The RS doesn't have these air intakes here, and I would actually think that these help produce a bit more power. I know this GT3 produces 500 horsepower and the GT3 RS is 520, but I wonder if they put those on the RS as well, it would have actually maybe 525 horsepower. Yeah, happy with that find. Two GT3s, can do a nice direct comparison. Aggressive track machine and aggressive road machine. I think I would go for the RS though, just that little bit more extreme. I prefer the look of the GT3, I think it's more subtle and a bit classier, but just I think the extra aero on that GT3 RS, the extra wide track, I would go for the RS. I'm just a few quid short though. Need to save her. So I'm going to be honest, this bike ride has turned out to be quite the bike ride. I've now found a Ferrari F355. We look behind it, a BMW M2 or M4, not entirely sure. Over there, 997 GT3. And just over there, if we can see it, there is a 812 Superfast. And a motorbike which makes lots of noise. Well, let's start with the Ferrari F355. I think this is one of the best sounding mid-engine Ferraris. Sounds amazing. And 355 means it has a 3.55 litre V8. All the mid-engine Ferraris used to be named after their engine size until they got to the 488, where they just decided to add a litre on. And the 355, quite a nice car. I believe these well, a lot of them were manual. They did have a F1 gearbox in the later stages, but the manual is definitely the one to go for. And what really strikes me is just how small these are. They're like tiny compared to modern day cars. And you can always tell an older car, like the wheels don't quite fit the arches as well as the modern cars do. And the brakes are tiny, wow. But still, super cool car. You can see the engine there as well, through the mesh. I don't really know too much about BMW, so we won't go into depth on this. But we will come and have a look at the GT3. Bit of a GT3 day, isn't it? Third one in, well, about 5 minutes. This is a 997.1, and again it looks like it's been used. It's had some scuffing on the front, and the spec is not the most exciting. It doesn't have the ceramics, and the seats are comfort seats, but nonetheless this is still a super cool car. Manual gearbox, GT3, 8,500 RPM I think they come up to. Very nice. And these actually, like a few years back you could pick them up for like £50,000. Now you can't really get them for less than 70. So yeah, they came up in value quite a bit. And I do like them. It's like one of the last of the Metzger motored GT3s. Well, Metzger motored Porsches altogether. I wouldn't mind one of these. And now let's... Oh, I can hear an Aventador somewhere around here. There's a dog security guard. And yeah, let's have a look at this 812 Superfast as well. Quite a nice spec, black with yellow calipers and yellow details. Big yellow Ferrari badges. I still prefer the F12 over the 812, but still, it is a very cool car. It's quite big, especially compared to that 355. And why I like it is because of what's under that bonnet. A massive, I think it's 6.3 litre V12, naturally aspirated.
Hello mate. Hello.
Ridiculous money.
Just come away from that one. The gears is a bit funny about that one.
Who is?
The owner of that car, you've got to stay away from it.
McGuinness? Paddy McGuinness, is it?
Huh?
Paddy McGuinness?
Sorry?
Who did you say? So, we're not allowed to get close to this one, so not too much of a problem, because if we look around here, we have another. This time it is, well, it's another 812, and this time it's in blue, which I think is a better spec. Very nice. It's even actually got like slightly tinted black lights, and the spec is great. This is like how an 812, in my opinion, should be spec'd. Nice dark blue silver calipers, and inside it has a very nice cream interior, and that looks really very nice. It's got very nice seats as well. I think they're Daytona seats. Wow, this is a super nice spec. Yep, and that massive naturally aspirated V12, I think almost 9,000 RPM. Just amazing. And then here we have a Boxster and a few more cars. So I wasn't intending on finding this many cars. I literally just came out for an evening bike ride, and now what have we come across? A McLaren SLR. Clearly not standard. It's got a huge front bumper on it, and it has some nice slats on the bonnet slash wing, and big slats on the bonnet too. And it has McLaren centerpieces on the wheels. It is a McLaren. It was made at the McLaren factory despite being a Mercedes. And wow, this is quite the bike ride. And look at that huge rear diffuser on it, made of carbon. I'm not sure if that's standard on the SLR. And the wheels clearly are not standard. And even these slats on the side, they are not the standard slats as far as I can tell. And those nice side exit exhausts. It's quite a difficult thing to do, because consider the engine is there and the exhausts are there, and they have to like fit in all of the silencing and all of the filters in such a short space, and deal with sound regulations. So being able to have the exhaust that close to the motor is actually quite a rare thing. I guess 911s kind of have short, really short exhaust as well. And it looks really aggressive. The bonnet is super long, and I believe these were supercharged, maybe 5.7 litre supercharged V8. Very few supercars are supercharged. It's mainly an American thing. And this front bonnet slash wing area, it's not all that smooth. It's definitely aftermarket, of course. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I do remember on Top Gear when this first came out, they were doing brake tests, and the brakes kind of set on fire after they did some massive stopping, which makes sense because you stop this, I think 1.6 tons from 120 miles an hour repeatedly, the brakes are going to get very hot. Cool. So I'm going to go for, well, continue my bike ride, and maybe we find something else. Next we have found a Mercedes SLS 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V8, one of the last awesome Mercedes. Glowing doors, like it a lot. I've stopped even getting off the bike now, there's too many cars. So here we have a Lamborghini Huracan, here we have a Ferrari 488, both of which in matte black. Might as well just continue filming as well, stuff will just pop up everywhere. Nice American muscle car. Who knows what's going to come around the corner next. And here's me on my bike. Certainly more environmentally friendly, and not as cool as a supercar. And there's a Prius. Actually, I'm gonna go down that road. Yep, so we found a Mercedes AMG GT3s. And there is a Bentley Flying Spur. Some kind of Porsche Macan. Pickup truck, nice. Yeah, looks like we're going a bit dry on supercars now.